What's up, people? This is Rob from LearnBridge.nyc, and these are our hands from the most recent online tournament, January 5th and 6th. It's a little different this week because the tournament hasn't finished yet. I just finished playing it myself on Saturday afternoon. I want to take you through the decisions I made, and more importantly, the mistakes I made, and I'm sure a lot of you shared with me. So let's take a look at board number one. This is a super simple hand because it starts with us opening a no trump with our balance 17, and it goes all float. And at every table, we probably got the same lead, a low heart. And here is where we win the first trick with our jack, or our king and dummy, probably. Doesn't matter. If you play the king, they might play the ace. But the important part here is we need to counter winners. And at this moment, we've just taken one heart. We have 4 spades for sure. That's 5 total. We have a diamond for 6. And we have potentially one heart trick for 7. So we can see a very easy pathway to making one. We'll try to take extra tricks on these hands, but at least we know we can make one if we develop one of those heart tricks. What I chose to do is play spades right away. And I'm doing this because I want to at least give them a chance to make some pitches that might be bad for them, and also give me a better idea of what I should be playing next. So what I did is just play 4 rounds of spades. I saw that East was out after the second round, and it's okay to cash this entire suit because when it's done, you should know that no one has any spades left. The time where you wouldn't cash this queen of spades here is if you knew they had 2 spades left. Now you would develop the heart first and then come back to this. But because we're counting, we should know that this is the last spade. And now is where I developed my 7th trick. I just let a heart to the queen. And at this point, I'm hoping they help me set up some tricks, like either in clubs or maybe a super outside chance in diamonds. But let's see what they did. They let a club, and when they lead the honor, we're always going to cover for 2 reasons. This 10 is now more likely to promote into a trick. And even more importantly, if left-hand opponent has the ace, they are now forced to lead that suit. So if we force them to lead that suit, our 10 is protected. They can't come through it here. But as it turns out, they do not return that suit. They return diamonds, which is perfectly normal. And I played low, hoping they would maybe second guess what they should do next. But again, they let a diamond to my ace. And now I just have 7 tricks. So I took my 7th trick. And now, holding out hope, I let a low club from the dummy towards my 10-8. And as it turns out, I just don't have any more tricks. So one no trump making one should have been a pretty reasonable result here. Board number 2, I made a terrible error because I didn't check what the robot was going to think my bid meant. The auction started with us opening a spade. Our partner bid a no trump, and I rebid 2 hearts, just like all of you did, I'm sure. And partner bid 3 clubs, which should be a sign-off. It should just show a hand like this, a kind of a, probably not even this good, but a hand that's bad with long clubs. And at this point, we're usually supposed to pass. I had it in my head that I wanted to pattern out and show that I was 5-5 and hopefully play 3 of one of these majors, either hearts or spades. As it turns out, though, I failed to just mouse over my bid before I made it. And look at what I showed. I showed not only that I had 5 spades and 5 hearts, but the robot assumed I had 17 or 18 points, which I can understand. I'm making a bid opposite a sign-off, essentially. So I'm probably supposed to have extra values, and I should have confirmed that before I chose to bid. As it turns out, playing 3 clubs is the best you can do on this hand, I think. You can play 3 clubs and probably make it. If you do decide to bid 3 hearts, partner unfortunately won't just bid 3 spades. They're going to jump to 4, which is a contract we just cannot make, unfortunately, if they defend correctly. Board number 3 saw an interesting auction that I bid too much on. I started with a spade. Partner made the 2 diamond game forcing bid, which we know is game forcing and natural. And I bid 3 clubs. It's important with these hands to pattern out. I know, I'm sure when we look at the results tomorrow, we'll see maybe some other pros bidding 2-no with this hand. However, I want you guys to remember when we're responding to 2/1, patterning out and showing your shape in the best way possible is usually the best choice. And here we can bid 2-no because we know partner bid diamonds, but still, I am much happier just to show the shape of my hand. And the 3 club bid shows that I have 5 spades, 4 clubs, and I'm unbalanced, right? I'm not perfectly balanced because I would have bid 2 no trump in that situation. So I chose to bid 3 clubs, and partner now bid 3 spades, which we should know is extra values. with 3-card support. If they had just a minimum game forcing hand with 3-card support, they would jump to 4 spades. When partner does show extra values, we look at our hand and we see that we not only have 15 high card points, but we have some shortness. Even though it's in partner suit, it's still not terrible, especially if partner doesn't have a ton of great cards in that suit, or even if they do, it might be good for pitches. So I made a control bid. And that's this bid right here, this 4-club bid. And I want you to recognize the situation that we're in. There's a good control bidding lesson on the site if you're interested. It's in the slam bidding section. But the biggest thing you guys need to recognize when we're bidding controls is, when do we do it? And the answer is, if we are in a game forcing auction, which we know we are, and if we have a fit that we both know about, which we do know, any new suit becomes an attempt to play higher than game, and it's a control bid. So this 4-club bid by me showed, hey partner, I have first round control in clubs. Now here is where the robot, in my opinion, should just bid 4 spades. Finding out that I have cards and clubs is actually bad for this hand, because they're void in clubs, right? So the more points I have in clubs, the less valuable those cards are, because they would be much better served in hearts and diamonds and certainly spades. So in my opinion, I hate to, blame the robot for anything, but I think they should just be signing off in 4 spades when I show a club control. If I had shown a heart control and denied clubs, they might get a little more excited now, because now that works better for their hand. But as it turns out, they bid 4 diamonds, and here's where I thought of just bidding 4 spades. And the reason I would never bid 4 spades in a realistic circumstance. But in this tournament, we do have the knowledge that partner cannot have a better hand than we have. Okay, so I have 15, so the most they can have is 15. Even though I know that, it's still pretty hard to not want to play slam after partner shows extras and makes a control bid for you. So I bid 4-0 and partner showed 1 key card, and I signed off in 5 spades. And unfortunately, because of the bad spade break, we're not going to be able to make 5 spades. So I was in 5 spades going down 1 on this particular board, and I'm sure a lot of you were happy in 4 spades making 4 for a great result. Unfortunately, I bid a little bit too much and got penalized accordingly for that, I'm sure. Board 4 was a pretty straightforward auction. Again, we opened a heart, partner bid 2 diamonds. This is not game forcing, folks, because what did partner do originally? They passed. So when we see this bid, any 2/1 after a passed hand, it's probably around 10 to a bad 11, somewhere around there, and that's kind of what they're looking at here. They have like a reasonable 9 with 2 5-card suits, but when we rebid 2 hearts, which is what we should be doing with this hand, we're just going to play in 2 hearts. And if we get to play 2 hearts, they lead the 7 of clubs, which you should pick out as probably shortness based on the number of cards that you have in this suit. When you're looking at an 8-card side suit and they lead it right away, especially when they lead from a holding that looks like it's nothing, right? They led the 7 and right-hand opponent won the king. It's usually shortness. And as it turns out, on this hand, they let a heart right away. And that's why I won the ace. If I think one of my opponents, and likely West here, is short in the club suit, I want to draw as much trump as I possibly can before they have another opportunity to break that club suit and get a ruff. So what I did when they led the 10 of hearts, I played the ace and then I led the queen of hearts right away. And I'm just trying to draw as much trump as I possibly can at this moment so that I can keep them from ruffing those clubs, because I might have a nice source of tricks in my hand if I can get trump out and play clubs. And as you can see, when they win the king of hearts, they return a spade, and partner still doesn't give them a ruff, thank goodness. And now we just are going to take the rest of the tricks because we ruff. We get to draw 2 rounds of trump, and if we're remembering, we saw the 10 of hearts, so this 9 of hearts is a good trick. And now we can just pitch away our losers on that club, making 3. Board 5 was kind of a crazy hand. I made the wrong decision on this board for sure. I opened a no trump. My partner transferred to spades, and I bid 2 spades. And now partner bid 3 diamonds. Now, this auction is always a game forcing auction, no matter what. when partner transfers and then bids a new suit, they're showing 5 of that original major and length in the suit that they're bidding. It's natural. So diamonds definitely shows diamonds, and it also shows a hand that's not balanced. If this was a balanced hand that had enough for game, you would see partner bidding 3 no trump. But the fact that they're bidding a new suit means, hey, they definitely have 5 spades and they definitely have diamonds and they're not balanced, but they want to play game. Here is where I should just bid 4 spades. And 4 spades would show kind of a minimum no trump hand with 3 card spade support. However, I thought I was doing poorly at this point in the tournament. So with my nice cards in the unbid suits, hearts and clubs, I decided to take a chance and bid 3 no trump, which is wrong because I can only make 9 tricks in no trump on this hand, but we can make 10 tricks in spades. And the reason we can make 10 tricks in spades is it looks like we might have 2 spades, a diamond, and a club loser, but the club loser gets to get pitched on one of these nice hard honors over here. So if you played 4 spades on this board, you were likely able to make 4. If you played 3 no trump, the best you can do, unfortunately, is just making 3 unless they gift you something on the opening lead. So I was in 3 no trump making 3 when I'm sure a lot of you were playing the correct contract, which is 4 spades making 4. So board 6, after I realized I was in a bad 3-0, I decided to open 2-0 with this south hand here. And you can see it's a 19-point hand. But when I have 19 in a reasonable 5-card suit, which is what I'm looking at here, I like to stretch a little bit, especially with the robots, because it builds in a little bit of aggression, especially if I think maybe my scores aren't stellar up to this point. So I open 2 no trump. Opening a heart is obviously much better, and it might go a heart all pass. Looking at these cards, the robots frequently will just pass you out at the 1 level, and you probably did really well if you played 1 heart. Unfortunately, when I opened 2-0, partner automatically transfers the spades and passes, which is the right thing to do. Take a look at that north hand, guys. If you're holding this hand, whether partner opens 1 or 2 now, you always just transfer to that 5-card major. The problem with this hand is if you bid Stamen, you're kind of stuck when partner bids 2 diamonds. You're super lucky if they bid a major, but if they don't, you just are never going to be able to sign off. So here it's important with a 5 and a 4 with a bad hand, just transfer into that 5-card major and be done with it. And as it turns out, the opening bid of 2-0 was a huge loss for me because I got to play 3 spades and that was a little bit too high. If you open 1 heart, and I'm going to be curious to see what happened on this particular board when we go through the actual results, but here 3 spades was just a level or 2 too high, unfortunately. So board 7 was a hand that you guys probably passed with the south hand, and you're right to pass. I chose to be a little bit aggressive, again, considering I thought my standing in the tournament wasn't too great at this point, so I decided to open, in my opinion, an aggressive 1 diamond bid. I'm happy if you guys pass this hand, trust me. But, again, opening a diamond, crazy Rob here, and partner bids a heart, and I responded to no trump. Exactly what I would do with, even a little better hand, the same shape. I just don't have the ability to raise hearts, and I'm balanced. And now is where partner bid new minor forcing, that 2 club bid. And if you don't know what that is, whenever you see that red bracket, make sure you mouse over it and see what that means. And what it says it means is at least 4 hearts and 12 plus points. Usually it's 5 of that major. It could be 4 of the other major also, but almost always it's, hey, I have 5 of that original major I bid. And we respond 2 hearts, which says, hey, partner, I didn't have 4 hearts because you would have seen me raise right away, but I have 3 of them. And here's where the robot just bids 2 no, which when I moused over it said, okay, I have 5 hearts and 12 total points. Interesting. And they definitely have 5 hearts. I second guessed it, though. I thought it was possible that the robot had 4 spades and 4 hearts, and was maybe bidding new minor forcing as a way to potentially play spades instead of hearts. So when they bid 2-0, I did mouse over it because I learned my lesson earlier, and I still chose to pass, just kind of giving it a wing. And as it turns out, the opponents clearly misoffended by not breaking spades ever. I was able to set up all of my tricks before they ever got into play spades, and this was the crucial point right here. After I set up my heart trick in my hand, they let a club. Now, a lot of you might just automatically try to take a finesse here, but the thing you have to realize is you have a serious situation that's developing here. You know spades is wide open, so if they ever cash that ace king of spades, we're going to lose a lot of tricks. So when they lead a club here, they've done such a good thing for you that you just play the ace, and now you take the money and run. You take all the tricks you possibly can, and that's exactly what you'll see me doing here. And I ended up just taking every trick I could and giving them the rest at the end. So as it turned out, I made just 2 on this hand. If we played hearts, we probably lose a club and a diamond if they're perfect, 2 spades, and a heart. So if you played hearts, as it turns out, you probably did poorly because you have to correct to the 3 level, and you're going to lose 5 tricks most likely. So the moral of this story is once partner decides to go above 2 hearts, we're not going to get to a contract we can make. If we do bid 3 hearts, we'll play it there and we'll go down 1 most likely. If we play 2-0, we're supposed to go down, clearly. But luckily the robots misdefended and allowed me to make 2. So this would probably be a good result for me, I'm guessing, when we see the results. And last but not least, board number 8. We saw East open 1 heart, and with this hand, it's okay to overcall 1 no trump. It's a little bit, bad on the shape scale, right? You're totally flat, but you have a 16 count, and you have a reasonable stopper and hearts and some length. So it's important just to bid your hand. Show that you have 15 to 18 balanced with a heart stopper. And as it turns out, partner will make, in my opinion, a little bit of a timid bid of just transferring to clubs and passing. This is a hand with a nice 6-card club suit that it's clear we can make 3-0. We get 6 clubs, a heart for 7, 2 diamonds for 9. Even with a spade lead, we can only lose the first 4 spade tricks, even if we're losing that. The 8 of spades actually sets up for a trick. So as it turns out, no trump is a winner. But the North player, our partner, the robot, decided to transfer and pass with their nice 8 count and 6 clubs. More likely an invite or just a jump to game, especially if this rimps. You would be jumping to game with the North hand most likely. But we can't control what our partner does, and they could have a much worse hand in this spot, especially considering we saw an opening bid to our right, and they have transferred and just passed. So in this case, partner had probably the most they could ever have for that bid. Honestly, in my opinion, a little bit too strong for that bid. Playing some no trump would make a lot of sense. And that's it, folks. Those are my results from the tournament. And each week I'm going to share this with you, and I'm going to share it with you right after the tournament completes. So if you're a night owl and you're up at like 2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, you should be able to see the video on the site. We had some issues the last couple of weeks, especially considering my computer completely shut down and erased almost everything I had on it. So that was a tough day for me, but that's all fixed. So we're going to do this each week now. You're going to have a video right away that you can look at on Sunday morning. And also, we're going to do a live Q&A with you guys on Sunday afternoons. And you'll all get an email about that when you sign up for the tournament. After it completes, you'll get the invite for that live Q&A. You don't have to be present for that. That video will also be uploaded afterwards. But if you have any pressing questions, you might want to join us or send me an email about the hands you would like to see talked about, and we'll try to fit all those in. So until next time, this is Rob Barrington from LearnBridge.nyc signing off, and I'll see you all at the tables. Take care.